Hey friend, hey, it's your friend on the other end, Takia, and welcome back to Cash Your Cares podcast, where faith meets reflection. This is your space to slow down, grab your journal, and process life through the lens of faith. Life gets busy and our minds can feel cluttered, but here we take a moment to breathe, reset, and refocus. So before we dive in, let's take a moment to pause. Let's take a deep breath in and let it out. Whatever you're carrying today, know that you don't have to carry it alone. So let's get into it. Hey friend, hey, happy Wednesday. And I'm so glad to be here with you today. So let's go ahead and dive into this week's episode. It's something that's challenging, but something that's necessary. And that's discipline. I heard a quote. It says, "You don't need therapy. You need discipline." And I did have a moment. I was like, whew, because it did hit me in the chest. But let me start by saying, I am a full-on advocate for therapy. I do believe in therapy. I believe God uses therapists, and I believe therapy helps us to process, heal, and grow. So I won't necessarily say you don't need therapy. So I'm not saying you don't need therapy. What I'm saying is you don't just need therapy. You also need discipline. So let's be real. Some of the things we've been praying about, some of the things we've been journaling about, some of the things we're going to therapy about, they're not always emotional or spiritual strongholds. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. Sometimes we just need to create structure and we need to build the discipline. I know. That's weird and kind of crazy coming from me because I'm always saying cash your cares and let your emotions and things of that nature out. But there's been this, I don't know what you want to call it, revelation to where it is about being honest with yourself as well. I used to think I just needed to be more motivated. But here's what I learned. Motivation is just a feeling. And we know as believers that feelings isn't what's supposed to lead us. So I'm learning motivation is just a feeling, but discipline is a decision. Motivation gets you started, but discipline, it keeps you going. And consistency, that's where the results show up. So let's talk spiritual discipline. We all want to grow spiritually, but we all know now growth doesn't just happen. We can't just live on inspiration alone. We've got to train. 1 Timothy 4:7-8 says, "Have nothing to do with goodness myths and old wives' tales. Rather, train yourself to be godly. For physical training is of some value, but godliness has value for all things, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come." That's good in itself right there. It does say that physical training is of some value. So for those of us that's been saying, oh, I need to get back in the gym, oh, I need to be active, things of that nature, we do. Let's be real about it because one, our body is a temple, and that's a whole nother situation in itself. But it's time for us to also train ourselves physically and spiritually, not just for now, but for the things that are to come. And so godliness is something that we train for. It's not to strive, it's not to tell God to check off the boxes, but it's something that you have to train for. You have to read your Bible. You have to pray to God. That's building yourself up. That's building yourself in the spirit. That's training yourself up. Just like we train up a child. We're not making them go, well, not all parents. We're not going to go make them run 3 miles a day, but every day we're teaching them something new. We're training them up. So just like we're training up a child, we have to train ourselves up in godliness as well. Sometimes it's a day-by-day thing. Sometimes it's an hour-by-hour thing. We have to renew our minds daily. That is training. So godliness is something that we train for. And that can look like praying even when we're tired, worshiping even when it's quiet or when we don't want to, studying the word even when we feel distracted, and obeying even when it's inconvenient. We can't just wait for the good moments or the good vibes or the good feelings. Obedience doesn't depend on emotions. Okay? So spiritual godliness, but training up in the spirit realm is important because one, we don't fight against flesh and blood. We fight in the spirit realm. And how are we going to be able to fight and go to war if we're not spiritually trained? So we have to train ourselves. Those days when we don't want to pray, when we don't want to read our word, those are the times when we need to do it the most. It's not just when we leave on Sundays and we want to read the Bible and the pastor has given us a good word. It's not just that Sunday faith. It's about that Monday morning faith. It's about that Tuesday afternoon faith. What are you doing throughout the week to get you to Sunday? What are you doing throughout out the day to get you where you need to be spiritually? Remember, obedience doesn't depend on emotion. So it's not about what you feel like. It's about what God told you to do. Okay? Now, let's talk about physical discipline. This part right here, it's the part that many of us avoid. I'll be honest. One minute I'm so into the gym and I'm so working out and all the things. And then there's days where my body hurts and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing it because I did it for 5 days straight last week. But last week, that's the past. It got me through last week. What it's going to do to get me through today or to tomorrow? Okay? So, number one, because we do not fight against flesh and blood, spiritual strength, it matters. But also, physical strength matters as well. Our bodies, our minds, our time, all of it is a part of stewardship because number one, our body is a temple. Okay? Our body is a temple. How are we going to be out here trying to praise God and evangelize to the people and walk with the masses, and we can't even, walk a mile without breathing extra hard, like, so it's important. Our bodies, our minds, our time, it is part of stewardship. God won't do for you what he's giving you the strength to do. Okay. So you have to do it. He'll give you the strength all day long because he's already given us the strength. But what's good is the strength if we're not using it, if we're not applying it. So sometimes, to be honest, we don't need another prayer. We don't need a prayer partner because for one, you can pray for yourself. That's another situation in itself too. You can pray with yourself. You have the same power that the next person does. But sometimes what it looks like is that person next to you that you're asking to pray with you, they've been spiritually trained. They've been going to the gym spiritually. They've been reading their word. They've been praying to God. They've been fasting. They've been doing those things. So sometimes you don't need another prayer. You need a plan. You don't need another vision board. You need a system. James Clear says, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And that's in the book Atomic Habits. And so that means you can want to be healthier, but without a plan, you'll default to old habits. So you can say you want to eat salads and know all your protein goals and know all your macros. But if you don't have a plan, if you don't go to the grocery store, then you're not going to have the right and proper nutritions in there at hand. You're going to go in there and grab you a bowl of cereal. You're going to go in there and grab you a hand of chocolate chip cookies because you don't have a plan. You haven't executed that plan. You can hope to be more productive, but without time management, you'll drift. And baby, I know about time management. Being a mom, being a wife, being a student, being a employee, being a person that's living in this world, you need time management. Sometimes that means saying no to certain things, to certain people. And it could be for a good cause, but sometimes you have to sit back and you have to say no. Sometimes it means studying a little longer than what you feel like you need to. Sometimes it means not going to a certain place because you need to do your homework. Sometimes that means going to bed early because you need to go to the gym. Sometimes that means not going out because you need to go meal prep. You have to have the time management to do what you need to do in order to get what you need to get done. So let's talk about these 4 things: inspired, inspiration, motivation, discipline, and consistency. Let's break it down. Being inspired is good. Being motivated is good. But it's nothing without discipline. Okay? And being inspired means that you feel a spark. You heard something, it moved you, right? So now you get motivated because you've been inspired. You're fired up. You make a plan. You get so excited, you write it down, you get a plan. But what happens next? You've been inspired, you've been motivated. How do you get to the next step? You need discipline. Discipline is when you don't feel like it anymore, but you do it anyway. Discipline is when that motivation is wearing off. Discipline is when you have to get up early in the morning and go to the gym or go for a walk after work when your body's tired. That motivation ain't kicking in the way it needs to. But as the more that you discipline yourself, consistency, it comes. It's now a part of who you are. Now your fruit is showing. So say it with me. Inspiration starts the fire. Discipline adds the wood, but consistency keeps the fire burning. So tell me, what are you going to do to stay consistent? You have to have that discipline. I know there's plenty of times where I have been inspired or I've inspired others and I get motivated. And y'all know me, I always say write it down because I'm going to write it down. And that is good. But now I've been inspired. My brain has been sparked. I've gotten my pen and my pad. I've written it down. I see the vision. I've written the vision down. Now it's time for me to apply it. I need to go execute this. I need to get up and I need to move my body, or I need to delegate whatever needs to be delegated. But there has to be a type of action that goes with the thoughts and the plans. So I'm asking you today, what actions do you need to take? Maybe you set a goal and you didn't stick to it because that feeling, it faded away, Or maybe one day you push past your feelings and that builds a new level of strength. It's time for us to keep going. This one day I feel so great and this is going to happen and all the things of that nature. Yes, it is. It can. It will. However, what are you doing to get what you need to get? What is God telling you to do in order to get where you're supposed to be? He can do it all. He can. But he wouldn't have created you if he didn't want you to do what was needed to be done. So it's time to get up, get out, and do something. I don't know if you remember Sister Act 2. If you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. Wake up, people. It's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to get up. It's time for us to go out. And it's time for us to go forth. Okay? Hebrews 12:11 says, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. Man, that's a verse right there. It may not feel good now, but it will produce something later. So my question to you is, what are you trying to produce? What do you need to produce? And what is it that you need to do to produce it? So, of course, I always got to ask you to write it down. So grab your Carecaster and journal, and let's pause for a second and let's take this in so that way we can have a plan. But now that we have a plan, we can actually go out and execute it. So, what area in your life have you been waiting to feel motivated in? But really, you just need to apply the discipline. Is it your prayer life? Is it your health? Is it your time with your kids or your family? Is it your business? Or is it even the time that you need to take and rest? I want you to choose one small action that you'll commit to daily for the next 7 days. Not anything huge, but just one consistent step, one step at a time. Friend, I'm here to remind you, you're not lazy, you're not stuck, you don't lack purpose. We just need discipline. And that discipline is not punishment, it's preparation. It's how God strengthens us for what we're praying for. So you don't just need therapy. You don't just need to cast your cares. We need structure, we need obedience, and we need discipline. Until next time. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If this episode stirred something in you, share it with a friend, tag me on social media, or let me know what part hit you most. And remember, discipline isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Keep growing, keep journaling, keep casting your cares. Until next time, friend. Peace.